Oh my God, guys. Oh my God. Somebody give me an audio check, please. Someone give me a confirmation in the chat that the audio is working. And oh my God, what an evening. What an absolute travesty. Oh man, the chat is blowing up. I mean, my God. Welcome to the support group, fellas. Is someone just tell me the audio is working and I could just shed my tears into this microphone? Thank you, Michael. Oh boy. Well, you guys already know what it is around here. Win or lose, we booze. Tonight I'm going with the Surfside iced tea and vodka. Just got back from the Rock a couple minutes ago. I am ashamed to admit that I did leave early. I just felt sick to my stomach. My eyes are a little puffy from the tears that were shed on the way home. And wow, it doesn't get much uglier, guys. You know, I expect improvement, but to get shellacked like this at home, it was just absolutely disgusting. But cheers to all those commiserating here live. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And tonight, the New Jersey Devils looking to bounce back from an ugly performance the other night, follow up with an even uglier performance, losing at home to the Tampa Bay Lightning by a score of 8-5. And my God, is this Devils team looking shaky right now? And my God, are they awful at Prudential Center? Let me just. Whoa, calm down, Brian. Brian's coming out here aggressive. I don't need that right now, Brian. Tonight was ugly. There's no way to cut it. Had a 1-0 lead. Beautiful goal by Jack. I thought we might see, him start to get going. I thought after that, uh, you know, Palat might be a first liner for the rest of the season, but beautiful tuck by Jack in on the breakaway, drops the goal. He does his little shimmy and gives the Devils the 1-0 lead. A few minutes later on the power play, Point. I mean, their power play is lethal too. All the guys they roll out, my God, Point and Kucherov, Gensel. They tie it up at 1. We go to the second 1-1. I'm like, okay, so this is going to be a back and forth game, I suppose. Maybe it'll be a hard fought one. And tied after 1. Timo gets that nice goal early on in the second to give him the 2-1 lead. And then the floodgates opened and there was no stopping it. That second period is one of the most tragic things I've witnessed in quite a while. At 7:34, Hedman scores to tie it up, and then Hagel gets a natural hat trick, scoring 3 consecutive goals in a span of about, let me see my math here, 6 minutes and 26 seconds. Hagel gets his 3rd, 4th, and 5th of the season, and essentially buries the Devils. I think the team, the fans were in shock. It's just been, it was just a tragic period of hockey. I mean, wow. An absolute tragic period. Hagel gets the natural hat trick, 5-2, and then for good measure, Hedman scores another one with 2.5 minutes left in the period to give him the 6-2 lead. And then, of course, we had to be, toyed with a little bit in true New Jersey Devils fashion. Bastian gets one at 2:56, cuts it to 6-3. Then Timo strikes again on the power play, making it 6-4. And now the building's starting to come alive again. It was very funeral home-esque heading into the third period. Tons of people left after the second period. I hardly ever leave early, and I definitely would never leave after the second period. But I saw tons of people leaving. They packed it up. They called it a day. I wasn't going to leave. But yeah, Timo scores that power play goal, 6-4. You feel the ice start to slant finally in the Devils' favor. The crowd comes back to life. And then we get completely screwed with that bullshit call on Dawson Mercer. A complete horseshit call. Mercer gets plowed into the crease. I don't know what the refs were looking at. And at some point now, I think with bad calls like this, I think now you have to be able to challenge penalties to some extent. I don't know what the parameters should be, But on a horseshit call like that, the crowd gets crazy. Complete bullshit on Mercer. The arena goes nuts. And then they score right away off the face-off, and Kovacevic got like sticked. It was hard to see in the arena, and I literally just got home a couple minutes before I jumped on here. But Kovacevic definitely gets. There should have been a penalty. Whoever hit Kovacevic, whatever the hell happened there. So basically, that, in my opinion, that was what ended the game. A bullshit call on Mercer. They go on the power play, and leading split second before the goal, there should have been a penalty on them. That penalty's missed. So essentially, a terrible call and then a terrible non-call put the nail in the coffin for the Devils. Gensel puts them up 7-4. And yeah, that was it. That was the end of the game there on that nonsense call and the non-call. And then Moser gets that crazy one. It looks like a standard dump in. It takes a crazy hop off the glass. Allen's out of the net, anticipating the puck coming around behind, and it takes a crazy bounce, goes in. Tampa back up 8-4, and then Nason connects on the power play at 12:45 to make it 8-5. But overall, the refs absolutely screwed the Devils tonight. And it did seem like the comeback kids may have been onto another one. They were down 2 with all the momentum, and then that horrible penalty that should have never been called happens, and that's it. An absolutely ugly game. Jake Allen was left out to dry. I did watch Sheldon Keefe's post game, and basically, it seems like he said something like, "Oh, it was Markey's night off, and you don't put in your number one goalie cold." So it seems like he's against pulling a backup goalie, essentially. So if you're a backup goalie and you're having a bad outing, you're gonna ride that shit out. Zach, I can only see the chats. I'm gonna try to go back up to the top. There's so many. Zach, I'm not blaming the refs, my man. The Devils played like shit. But what I'm saying is, any chance of them stealing a point or stealing the win was essentially eradicated with the refs. I'm not blaming the refs whatsoever. The Devils played like absolute shit. I'm not here to say anything else. But they did have momentum after that fourth goal, and it immediately got snuffed out on that power play goal. And I'm not blaming the refs at all. I'm blaming the refs for that call, but that's not why the Devils lost the game. The Devils got completely smoked. It was a horrible outing. And it's disgusting. And wow, there's so many comments in here. You witnessed the worst period of the season, definitely. Lazar's fine, and his effort puts him over the top for me. Absolutely. I love Lazar. He's always out there trying to hit guys. He never packs it in. Oh, man. This game was sponsored by the New York Jets. When you go down in flames. It was an ugly one. I lost my shit with that penalty. I'm glad Keefe exploded too. The ref should feel ashamed of himself. Yeah, it was a terrible call. And again, I'm not blaming the refs for the game, but let's be real. The Devils made it interesting again. The crowd came back to life, had all the momentum, and then it immediately gets rubbed out on a horrible penalty call and then a non-call. Keefe was getting pissed at dumbass questions. And again, I feel like the reporters ask the dumbest questions, and guys get tired of it. And after a night like tonight, Keefe wasn't in a great mood. And what did he said something along the lines of, is there anyone else here with another question? Because these people just ask the dumbest. It's like, I hate when people ask questions for the sake of asking questions. Like, they're not valid questions. It's just like you're there to ask a question. And I hate that. And you see it a lot. And I think Keefe, a combination of getting asked those repeatedly with the terrible Devils effort tonight, he finally showed a little, I'll call it Sheldon Keefe's first Lindy moment, where he got a little contentious with the media. Or I'm going to say the media, because, they're credible media, apparently. I would have thrown the bench, but that's me. In true Robbie Ftorek fashion, launched the bench. Not only was that a bad call, but it killed any chance for a comeback. Yeah, that's my point, Ron. For the people saying, like, oh, you're blaming, I'm not blaming the refs at all. The Devils deserve to lose this game 100%. But they did they sharded too. They started to show life, and it got immediately just kind of shut down with that penalty call and the goal with the non-penalty call in Tampa leading up to it. And it sucks, but the Devils played so bad that they deserved the outcome they got tonight. Allen equal wash 3 years ago. I mean, he's looked okay in some starts tonight. If I'm being honest, I was never happy with the notion of him being anointed essentially the backup goalie for this season when we got him. I don't know why, Fitz got him last year and basically was like, yeah, he's the backup goalie for next year. I thought that was a little strange, to be honest, but you know, I think when he's on, he could be okay. But again, Allen, not the best night, but he did make a lot of big saves as well. The defense was just non-existent for stretches, and he got lit up. I mean, rebounds just sitting there, guys just no response whatsoever. And felt like the team lost that sandpaper that Fitzy went out and got over the summer after the hit on Bratt. It's wild. So there was no real tough guys on the ice at the time, I don't think. Later on in the game, I believe, didn't Bastian try to, didn't Bastian try to fight him? Bastian had a hold of him and was trying to get him to drop the gloves, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. At the game, like I've mentioned before, it's much harder to kind of catch everything as you do on TV. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't right away, but shortly after, Bastian tried to respond. But in the end, when Bratt gets rocked like that on the ice, I would like to see, no matter who's on the ice, go out there and tackle the guy or do something. But certain guys don't have that in them. And for us to expect it, I guess, is somewhat delusional. Team is straight ass. No excuses anymore. Devils 23 hits, Lightning 14. Sure didn't seem like it. I feel like we are back in 2016 all over again with that game. Damn, this is super disappointing with this team. Smoked. Not after a loss like that. You're not wrong to leave early. I think I left a couple minutes after the 8th goal. So with 7 minutes left in a 4-goal game, I was just so disgusted. I couldn't sit there anymore. I was so done. I was so done. The Devils didn't show up till the 3rd anyway. And that's the thing. It's like when they're on, they look like a different team. But for whatever reason, it seems like it's hard for them to play a whole game like that. I don't know what it is, but it seems like what I would call consistently inconsistent. It's like, can we just see that team from the start to the end of a game? And we should be more than fine. But I will tell you, with some of these sloppy outings, I couldn't be more excited for Luke and Pesci to return. At one point, I was a little nervous as to how them coming back was going to affect the overall team and the defense and yada, yada. But maybe we did slightly overachieve out of the gate. I do believe this is going to be a very good team. I'm not hitting the panic button whatsoever. But nights like this truly are discouraging. And I do think getting Luke and Pesci back will help the team overall and the defense, obviously. But tonight was just disgusting. It was a disgusting game. A lot of people did True Patriot. We suck. 14 goals allowed at home in 2 games. Embarrassing. It is. It is embarrassing, and the struggles at Prudential Center are real. I do feel like it's a cursed building for whatever reason. Yeah, why are we notoriously horrible at home? I wish I knew the answer. Our barn blows. Yeah, we are a much better road team. I don't know why. Jesse Shannon, at least Bratter and Timo time got me fantasy points. Well, at least you got fantasy points, Jesse. Back-to-back losses, no back-to-back wins yet. Shoving people with conviction shouldn't be a hit. I wonder if they can make another stat for truly hard hits. Yeah, it's a subject. Hits are subjective, so it is interesting. I do think in some buildings, it's much harder to get credited with a hit than some other places. But I do think you have a point there that there is there is a difference between a shove or a little nudge versus an actual slam, like a real hit. But behind the play, Devils are at least doing those little shoves. But it does feel like there's a lot of times where guys could absolutely blow somebody up and they hold back for whatever reason. I don't know why. I wish they would go full force. Move back to the Meadowlands. We want cups again. Oh, I would love to go back to the Meadowlands. Absolutely love it. Allen only has a job because he was Brodeur's old golfing buddy from St. Louis. I don't know if I buy that, but obviously, Marty was familiar with him and had a relationship with him. So that's, in every business or kind of corporate situation, those types of things happen. And, it happens in the NHL as well. Has nothing to do with skill or strength, heavy or speedy. It was 100% on their lack of effort and zero attention to detail through the first two periods. Bratt got buried by Cernak. No response. I thought Bratt was dead. I was on the blue line on that side, and he got absolutely crushed. I thought there was a chance he was gonna have to go down the tunnel. It was a big hit, and he was very vulnerable. He went flying. I've gotten more calls from reps to come back than the team has wins at home. I believe that. If you get on that mailing list, they're machines, man. The season ticket holder people, it's like a call center. They're just going to keep cranking it out. They're going to call you. They're going to email you. Swiss cheese, we have a goalie issue yet again. I mean, did Allen play great? No, but I don't think any goalie was in net for the Devils was winning that game tonight, unfortunately. When you play that type of sloppy game, I don't think Prime Marty was bailing them out tonight, to be honest. Yeah, outplayed from start to finish, pretty much. I mean, the Devils carried the play for a stretch of the third there, but it was too little, too late. And the Bratt hit did seem like the turning point. Whether, I think after the game, Timo tried to, I think the same reporter that asked the dumb questions all the time, asked Timo if that was like a big deal. And I think he tried to downplay it. But the reality is, shortly after the big hit, the floodgates opened and we got mopped. So it's hard for me to be like, that had nothing to do with it. I mean, maybe, it wasn't the end all be all, but the reality is after that hit, Tampa poured it on and we got smoked. So to completely, write that off as a turning point of the game, I think would be silly. I think the Bratt hit really was the turning point. The Devils went down the toilet shortly after. Oh, man. We did fire Keefe. Come on. I can't see this team winning a cup. You watch the playoffs, this team wouldn't survive. If they play the way they did today, absolutely, Jay Snow. But again, this was game 9. We have a brand new coach. We are without two of our regular defensemen in Luke Hughes and Pesci. And there's a lot of flux kind of right now. I do think they're going to get much better, but obviously if they play like they did tonight, they're going nowhere, but I don't expect that to be the case. It's still only game 9. I'm so sick of their effort at home. Sick of it, man. It was terrible. For whatever reason, the boys just don't perform at home. And, if someone tells you, oh, the Devils are going to score 5 goals tonight, common sense would tell you that if we score 5, we need to win the game. We can't be giving up more than 5. 5 goals is a solid offensive output for any given game. So scoring 5 goals, you should win on most nights. Tonight was not one of them because we were just so sloppy defensively. It was pretty sad. My guess is he kept Allen in because he wants Markey for both halves of the back-to-backs. And no, that's the other thing I found the most interesting. There's no way Markstrom is playing Thursday in Detroit and Friday at home against the Islanders. So we're going to see Allen again. And I'm thinking we're going to see Allen again at home. There's no way they're ever playing Markey on back-to-backs. I just can't see it. So I don't know why Allen started tonight because we are going to see him again within the next few days. And hopefully, the team for both of them plays much better in front of them because tonight was a slop fest. Won't even see the playoffs with this play. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're not going to be, they're not going to play like this all season. But exactly. Insane Pollock, it's game 9. I can't remotely get, these games suck. It really pisses me off. And it's disgusting, especially when I attend. You make the effort to go and blah, blah, blah. And you see a stinker like this, it really hurts. It really hurts, and it's frustrating. But again, exactly. There's no reason to be on the ledge right now. It's super early, guys. They're not going to be this bad all year. and they're not going to play like this. But there's going to be an adjustment period, and hopefully Luke and Pesci coming back really helps out, because tonight was as sloppy as it gets. I mean, to give up 5 goals over 10 minutes. Yeah, so basically it was 10 minutes. They got 5 goals in 10 minutes in the second period. If that doesn't scream 23-24 New Jersey Devils, I don't know what does. And the PTSD, I understand why a lot of you have it, because, nights like tonight, it comes back full circle. You're like, oh my God, the meltdown is on. And it absolutely sucks, but it will improve. Fun fact, the last time Hagel had a hat trick, it was versus NJ. Yeah, tonight was a natural hat trick, which is even rarer. I'm trying to think if I've ever witnessed a natural hat trick live before. Nico had a chance at it last game. I wasn't at the game, but he got those 2 goals in 10 seconds. And a few minutes later, when he came back out, I thought he had a decent chance. Would have liked to see him get that, but lots of booing tonight. I would say it was well earned, because that was a truly pathetic effort. I've never left so early in all my years. Tired of driving an hour to see them lose at home all the time. I'm done with them. True Patriot, were you there tonight? I'm fine leaving Allen in, give Markey the night off. Yeah, at that point, when the game's over, all my teams suck, and I'm tired of it. It's time for Keefe to start coaching and hold this kind of effort accountable. Well, I believe he will, but there was a lot of guys you could point the finger at and say, the effort wasn't good enough. You can't scratch everybody, but I would like to see someone scratched, like a real kind of shakeup situation. This team is an embarrassment right now. Tonight was embarrassing. Just got home. Damn, that was brutal. Is it time to worry yet, or am I being soft? I mean, I have a slight concern, but again, game 9, I could never be that worried after game 9. And again, the thing I just keep repeating is we still are without Luke and Pesci. That should be quite the bump to the defense. And at this point, the defense is looking, what started off the year looking like a pretty good unit, is now looking super suspect in a matter of a few days. 2 embarrassing subpar efforts in a row. If it's me, I call up 3 guys from Utica and scratch 3 guys at near random for Detroit just to send a message. You're not untouchable. You are not safe. I like that. I really like that. I don't think we'll see it, but people need to, I don't know. They need to fall in line. They need to, something's got to give. I'm not mad at that idea. I don't think you'll see it. Allen Blows should have never been out there in the third. I don't think it would have mattered who was in there, man. It wasn't Allen's fault at all, but of course someone says the goalie's fault like every loss ever. I like that he left Allen in. The team left him out to dry, so now they got to explain to him why they didn't play for him. I'd be curious if these things even happen. Like, everybody was just, overall, it was such a bad effort that, like, I don't know. It's just, it's disappointing. It's this, losing sucks, but losing like that is a different, you got smacked. Allen wasn't to blame for this loss. The defense is to blame and should be held accountable. I mean, like I said, Allen didn't play great, but he was abandoned. I don't think any goalie was winning this game in net for the Devils, to be honest. It was just too much. You're out of your mind. Allen was complete. Yeah, no way we're winning that game. We got our asses beat. I agree. And this is exactly what I was saying, Ron. No one is blaming the refs for the loss. Blaming the refs for a bad call that could have made things interesting. Absolutely. We are going to be in trouble this year with this defense. The defense only is 2/3 complete, really. Once Luke and Pesci come back, That's a dramatically different and, in my opinion, improved defense. So to rag on the defense right now, I mean, the defense isn't really what it's going to be. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, the defense, we're in trouble. I don't think we are at all. And I think it's going to improve a lot when Luke and Pesci come back. I really didn't think they could look this bad. I'm stunned. It is a little, I don't know about stunning, but it is, kind of eye-opening that when they're off and look bad, like it's real bad. Allen looked good in the beginning, kept us in it, then I don't know what happened. What happened is the Lightning just took over the game. The alarm bells need to go off. Team is struggling against heavier teams. Yeah, Siegs is definitely not going anywhere. The defense sold this game, and we need to get back in the win column next game versus Detroit. Yeah. Can't beat a top team ever at home. Keep beating Utah and Sabres. So done with this nonsense. Well, Utah was 3-0 when they came in. A lot of people were pumping the tires of the Utah Hockey Club, and we shut them out. So I'm not one of these people that are like, oh, we lose to all the good teams and beat the bad teams. We just need to play consistently. And yes, we need Luke and Brett. Absolutely. Oh, boy. Another L at home. Keefe going to rip them. And there he is, SST. Lads, show me some love. I am lonely. I think the defense will be better when Luke Hughes and Brett Pesci come back, as do I. Insane Pollock. They haven't played everyone yet. Toronto, Carolina, Tampa, Washington. Get off the ledge. It was game 9. It was a bad game. Yeah, I agree. But they need to wake up because that was a depressing outing. The media, most of the Devils reporters are team employees. I would bag skate them all night. These young guys don't get it. Yeah, I would like to hear about some bag skates. I'm sure Amanda had some great questions. How does it feel to get blown out tonight? I'd like a Cernak on our team. No one had the balls to stand up to him. I think Bastian tried to fight him later on in the game. I really do. But go to bed, SST. Guess Palat looked good on the top line. He got an assist, I believe. Did he get an assist on Jack's goal? He did. Palat with his first assist, the secondary assist on the Jack Hughes goal. Would you look at that? Kind of love the sass from Sheldon in the presser. Yeah, he was visibly agitated. Hopefully it was a wake-up call for everyone. I mean, we could only hope. 2 bad outings in a row at home isn't gonna... It's not gonna get it done. Baldy may need to make an Arnott McKay trade like Lou did back in the team. Something may be rotten with this core. It's still too early. I wouldn't be hitting that panic button yet, but it's definitely worrisome or troublesome to look that bad for a team to score 5 goals in 10 minutes. That's last year's stuff. That can't be happening now. And yeah, team gets outworked and it's getting old. Exactly. If it's just an unacceptable result. I'm just a poor boy from a poor family. Man. Softest team in the league with the puck and along the boards, drinking a rum and coke to see this guy say we will win the cup this year. If you're talking about me, I never said that. I said I thought it wasn't outside the realm of possibility. And Las Vegas odds makers had us as the 3rd or 4th favorite team heading into the season. And so, to chirp after game 9, come back in April, my friend. I am tired of this effort at home. Watch the games, man. It has nothing to do with toughness and everything to do with effort. What's up, Morgan? Damn, you're back already from the game and got the stream up. Disappointing result, but cool to bump into you before the game. Let's go, Devils. What's up, Morgan? Thanks for watching, man. I'm so sorry that you had to sit through that tragic game, as did I. Very disappointing. One of the worst games I've been to in quite some time, for sure. When the Devils are on, they're dominant. When they're off, you might as well turn the game off too. I never turn the game off, but I certainly curse at the television set. Throw some shit. I left at the second intermission. I can't say I blame you. I usually give them a little more than that. And I think this might be the earliest I've ever left a game with like 7 minutes remaining. Maybe, or at least in years and years. Dylan was a beast the first 2 games. Where did he go? He's still in there. They don't play hard till they F themselves. Oh, no. John Woodson. Luke and Jack off this team ASAP. I'm hitting the panic button. The forechecking is brutal. Is it possible sending Casey down now mess with the defensive chemistry? I don't think so. I have to go back and look at some of the plays, but I think Miss Yule was out there for at least that one goal. And I think he kind of got exposed on a 2-on-1. Wake me up when the Devils rattle 5 off. Can't see it happening. Well, I mean, that's a pretty arbitrary number. If they won 3 in a row and lost 1 and they just repeated that cycle for a whole year, you would finish with a ton of points and never win 5 in a row. So I still predict Devils will finish 119 points and win the cup. I insist. There's no... what silver lining did I tell you there was? I said this is one of the worst games I've ever seen. I don't know what you're saying. There's no silver lining here, brother. What silver lining did I try to give you? All I'm saying is we're without Luke Hughes and Brett Pesce. We should be better when they come here, when they in the lineup. I don't know what silver lining you're trying to say that. And then Brian, all I hear is excuses. What are the excuses? We got our asses kicked. What excuses am I giving? Oh, wow. That's interesting. In the postgame, they said the last time we let up 8 goals was in 1992. My God. And yeah, there it is, Chico. Doomers are out in full force. I should have expected that. I should have expected this. 2 bad games in a row. And the Doomsdayers come out in full force. Props to Brat for coming back and not laying on the ice. I thought he was going to be done. He took a real big hit. A real big hit. Supposedly the Devils are on a 100-point pace in the standings. Yeah, I mean, pace means nothing, but yeah. Tonight was the first loss where they started off and turned it back on. That's a good sign. When Brat got hit, it should have been a fight period. Yeah, I was hoping for a melee immediately. That we didn't have the right personnel on to respond in the moment. But I'm pretty sure Bastian tried to fight him a little while later, and he wouldn't drop the gloves. What happened to Adam is the Devils got punched in the mouth tonight. I mean, there's no other, nothing else to say about it. They got smacked. Shit game. No team that has won the cup dominated all season. What's up, Maria? Surprised Brat was able to get up. He looked crumpled. Yeah, he took a big hit. And I was hoping, that he got up because it was very ugly in real time. McDermott steps on the ice right after Brat's hit. Easiest coaching decision. McDermott was in the press box. He did take warm-ups. I was hoping he was going to play because he did take warm-ups. But once in a while, guys take warm-ups and don't play in the game, and that was the case with McDermott tonight. But I at this point, I would, even if there's not any anticipated kind of rough stuff, I would put McDermott in the lineup for a game just to see what happens. Just to see. Because after these last 2 games, it's I'd like to see some sort of shakeup. I'm mad about tonight. It's not going to matter tomorrow, and especially not going to matter when they win both of the games in this back-to-back. I'd love to see it happen. Would love to see them win the next two. I think Fitz should give out another big contract to another player that is soft and doesn't play defense. Oh, boy. John, I never wanted Jake Allen. Just to be clear, I wanted Jacob Markstrom. So, I wanted Jacob Markstrom, not Jake Allen. Devils need Metamucil. How do you stop the bleeding? That's for Sheldon Keefe to figure out. But people have to start, playing like they care and stop just giving up quality chances all over the place and get the friggin' puck out. Rebound. I don't even know what number goal it was. There was one where Allen made a nice save and the puck was just laying there. No one anywhere even near it. And just an easy tap in. That stuff just cannot happen. Lost 2 straight, haven't won 2 straight. We're in game 9 of the season, True Patriot. This is not like we're in February and you're rattling off these stats. Yeah, we haven't won 2 straight. Great. We've played 9 games. This team looks awful against any fairly decent team. Utah is a decent team, and we beat them. We shut them out. No one talks about that. Just these 2 bad losses because you people live in the exact moment. What have you done for me today or last night? How many games till I'm concerned? We're so far away from that, man. Come talk to me. Hold on, let me pull up the schedule. Let's take a look. So this was game 9. So we got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Let me check something out here. All right, so there's 25 games. There's 25 games before Thanksgiving. Not 25 more games, but game 25 is the last game before Thanksgiving. So that's when I'm gonna really, if things are still looking sloppy at that point, then I'll be concerned. Keep in mind that's not even a third of the way into the season, Thanksgiving. So for people to be on the ledge at game 9, it's kind of wild. Oh yeah, thank you. I'm just so out of it. Yeah, they started off the season on 2 in a row. Yeah. So what are we talking about? Again, that's a ridiculous thing to say after 9 games. But Markstrom is very shaky. Do you watch the games, Ritter Engine? I mean, the first game in Prague, we easily could have lost if it wasn't for Markstrom. He looked pretty damn good against Ottawa, and he's the only reason we were even remotely in the game in a position to steal a point late against Carolina. The team got completely rolled, and towards the very end, we were a brat whiff away. A beautiful setup from Jack. We were that close to stealing a point there when we got completely dominated. Yeah, 1-2 games in a row to start the season exactly. Nerds are going to say it doesn't count because it was against the Sabres. A lot of negativity up in here tonight. Yeah, I would like to see McDermott get in a game. I definitely would like to see McDermott get a game, and just let's see if that brings some energy and a different kind of element to the lineup. Do you think part of the problem why they cannot play with any fluidity is because Keefe is shuffling the lines too much? I don't think it helps, but in the end, these guys are professionals. You would imagine that, you still have to be able to produce whoever you're playing with. They're NHL players. So I always like to see, lines that find chemistry stick together for at least, several games in a row just to kind of see how it goes. And Keefe has been shuffling things up a lot, but I'm not going to blame the poor play on that. I just think, as others pointed out, it's a combination of effort and will to win. And just sometimes they just seem like they're sleeping. And then they decide to pour it on when we're down. I saw a woman on Facebook saying they brought their son to 8 home games and hasn't seen any win yet. I could see that. Last year was brutal. Too many guys playing out of a spot right now. Need Luke and Pesci back. I think that'll definitely help. Yeah, Mike, I don't know why you have such a hatred for Siegs. I think he's not going anywhere. Rich, if the team has any real heart, they'll use this beatdown as inspiration to not let it happen again. That was demoralizing. Completely dejecting and demoralizing. Completely. Allowing 8 goals is straight up unacceptable. Defense is just bad. It was bad tonight. Scroll up, man. It's a number 2. Get your glasses, Grandpa. Stick up for this dead team, do you? I mean, true patriot. It's game. We played 9 games, man. Brian, I disagree here. Scratching stars doesn't do anything. Guys are not worried about their spots. Money is guaranteed. This ain't the 90s. I firmly disagree. You scratch a star player that's probably never been a healthy scratch in their life, and that's a move Torts would do, by the way. He caught a lot of shit for it. Last season, I believe he scratched Couturier, and it was like a major story. There's no way that scratching, and I'm not saying it's the right move. I think, at some point it might be something worth exploring. But if you believe a star player getting healthy scratched out of nowhere isn't a kick in the pants to the entire team, you're sadly mistaken. They know their money's guaranteed, but that's very embarrassing, and it's kind of a public kind of shunning, and players don't like that. Something is rotten in that locker room, losing culture. Allen probably should have 3 of those. Still, that's like 5 goals against even then, which isn't acceptable. I'm just checking some stats here. It's time to talk about how Siegs is a non-factor. Siegs has had quite the bounce back year, in my opinion. I was down on him last year, but to kind of smack talk him right now, he's been pretty solid with Kovacevic. Allen watching the puck slide into his abandoned empty net is going to be a meme. It very well might be. That was such a fluke shot. Routine kind of dump in. Crazy bounce off the boards and goes in the empty net. Keeping Allen in was ludicrous. Claiming it was Markstrom's night is a horseshit excuse. So basically keep your backup. I mean, I was kind of surprised he said that. But in the end, I don't think it would have made a difference in the outcome of this game. Someone should have answered Brad's hit. Where has McDermott been? He's been watching from the press box. I hope to see him out there sooner than later. They will be trouble because they're still getting smacked around by heavy forecheck teams. Chico and Ace thinks this team in the middle of a dynasty. I don't know that I've ever said I think it's in the middle of a dynasty, but I think they're in the middle of, or the start of, a run where they're going to be in the best position to go all the way in the next 4 or 5 years. It's, from now until then. I do believe that. Keywords to the next couple of games: effort and attention. I got to see it. Win or lose, I want to see them fucking hustle and pay attention in this back-to-back. Yeah. Two guys being out shouldn't equal games like the last two, and honestly, they're in Toronto. Devils look like shit versus good teams. Again, I'm not saying that 2 guys are going to fix everything, but they are going to help out for sure. The team will definitely be better when they come back. There's no excuse for a night like tonight. It was an absolutely terrible game. But I'm not going to write off all the teams that we have beaten and say they suck. Ottawa could end up being a decent team. Buffalo can end up being a decent team. I mean, there's no guys, they're NHL teams. They're, parity today. Most of these teams, there's not a huge difference between a lot of these teams that miss the playoffs and the ones that do. Assuming you're not talking about like the worst 2 or so teams in the league. Like the Sharks have had some really historically bad teams the last couple of years, but Ottawa, whether they make the playoffs or not, is going to be a very tough out for anyone, or tough team to play. Buffalo has some good players. Utah is a good team. So for people to make it sound like we only beat the worst teams in the league and we're losing to good teams is not accurate either. I think this team has stuff to work on, and that they will. But for tonight, I am mad. I know it's hard for you to imagine 2 thoughts at once, but give it a try. Oh, God. Maybe we should keep Plot on the top line to pad his stats, make him look more valuable to another team to trade. I don't think there's anything you could do to be able to move that contract easily, unfortunately. Come at me, Doomers. I've won versus X this fan base, and I will again. Course sucks. Brat, Jack, Mercer, Luke equals soft. Oh, boy. Val, it's game 9. It's game 9. I mean, famous words. Yeah, it's famous words. It's game 9. I didn't know the Stanley Cup was awarded in by Halloween. I didn't. I feel like they try to put on a show at home rather than just playing hard like they do on the road. I don't know. What are you drinking, Ace? Surfside, iced tea, and vodka. Ace, are you a sports bettor? Thought on all the lines, ads being shown throughout the games. So very interesting question topic, BM. So I will tell you this. I am 39 years old. I was betting on shit, 20 some odd years ago before all this shit was legal and you saw it everywhere. And the leagues were partnered up in these huge corporate sponsorships with the DraftKings and the FanDuel, and they're ramming it down your throat on television and doing segments in the game about it. And they got shows dedicated to it. And they're like, hey, Devils on the puck line, minus 1.5. Get it at plus 160 now. I mean, I think it's truly psychotic that the leagues have gotten so in bed with these companies, but that just shows you, to me, corporate greed and corporate corruption and whatever you want to call it. Money makes the world go round, and these companies have infiltrated essentially every single sports league. There's lounges named after them. You see the commercials. There's, sponsorships, signs within the arena, shit on the boards, whatever it is. I do think the sports betting companies have penetrated all these leagues entirely. And I do believe that in years from now, I think people will look back on it and they'll be like, we thought it was, people after the fact thought it was, dangerous that Marlboro and all these cigarette companies were all these huge sponsors in the 80s. And I guess part of the 90s was like irresponsible. I'll tell you this, I can make the argument that sports gambling is more dangerous than any of that shit. Cigarettes, alcohol, liquor, whatever it is. I know people personally from a young age that got it in really bad situations due to sports gambling. And I'll leave it at that. But sports gambling is addictive. It is very dangerous, and people could really put themselves in bad spots. And I think at some point you might see a peel back on this, but I don't know. Like I said, money makes the world go round. And these companies are worth, billions of dollars, and they are paying a shitload of money to all these leagues. And so you're going to see the DraftKings Lounge and the FanDuel this and all these segments. But it is crazy because sports gambling years ago was so taboo. And once in a while, like jokingly on a football game or something, it might be like a 21-7 game. And like the team with 7 was like kicking a random field goal at the end just to get 10 points. And like the announcers would be like, well, it's a fairly meaningless field goal here. And then the other guy would be like, Well, it's meaningless for some, but there's some that really got their eye on this because like it could have been the difference between covering the spread or not. But very taboo. They're never allowed to openly talk about it. And now they're just ramming it down your throats. I find it all very interesting. I think it is highly irresponsible of these leagues, especially when the kids are on all these apps and shit. But again, you know, Americans especially, and I guess this is probably a problem in other countries as well, but Americans like to play with fire. And here they are just spoon feeding your kids to go bet on sports. It's a kind of a wild thing. That's kind of my 2 cents on the sports gambling situation. Like the stream, you goons. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up. The line of number 86 jerseys leaving early was funny. I'm sure there was tons of jerseys leaving early. Yeah, Monsieur got exposed on that 201 for sure. Monsieur didn't cut the pass properly on the 4th goal, I think it was. We can't win 3 straight. Monsieur messed up on the 2-1. I hate when players can't decide either take the pass or play the body on the puck carrier. Just don't just stand in between both. You know, I'm from PA Ace. I was trying to convince my friends to get tickets with me tonight. So glad it fell through. Yeah, you're lucky it did. Don't get me wrong. I'm mad about tonight, and I'm mad about the other night, but they haven't played double. No, that's what I keep saying. I mean, it's game 9. I don't know what the doomsdayers want to come out immediately. Ace, I was only saying there's no silver lining in this game. I saw nothing to build on. Did you? Not really, other than, you know, if they can start games the way they start playing after they're down big and they could come out of the gate like that, then I think we're going to see a lot more wins. But outside of that, no, it's a pretty ugly game. Pretty ugly game. Nights like tonight make me wonder how Josh Harris thought it was a good idea to raise the season ticket prices. Refer back to my statement from a couple seconds ago. Money make the world go round. I would love to see McDermott play the next Lightning game. Nothing would make me happier, and he should go break some kneecaps. Not even what have you done for me lately? These people are what did you do for me last shift? Yeah. Max should see ice soon. Maybe a good momentum shift for the team. I would like to see it. I mean, we need a shakeup. We need a shakeup for sure. Historically, teams not in the playoffs around American Thanksgiving do not make it. I think that's why I think Thanksgiving is kind of a good barometer. You're almost about a third of the way there. You can't be a doomer and watch the game. The only way you can have the sheer weight of uninformed doomer takes is by not watching. Do you think Nico is too quiet to be a captain? No, I don't. I will say, you guys know I'm old school, right? So I do like the fiery captains, you know, the Scott Stevens of the world. You know, even a guy like Brady Tkachuk, but not every guy is a captain that way. I mean, is Barkov that kind of guy? I mean, if you look around the league, there's tons of guys that aren't exactly the loudest rah kind of dudes. And in the end, I would say that Nico Hischier has been our best player this season. And he leads by example. He might have been the only bright spot in that Washington game. And he had some chances and did some things again tonight. So I'm going to say, for a guy who is such a great two-way player, who gives it his all every single night, I can't ask for much more than what Nico's doing. And I think he's easily been our best player this year. Like in the past, they're impossibly bad at home and give up tons of goals in spurts. Regardless of coach or goalie, this seems to be in the team DNA. Again, game 9. I'm not remotely that concerned yet, but it is shades of last season, and it is concerning. Ghosts of Lindy Past. Trying to look at the positive because this game was absolute shit, but I'm interested in Palat on the top line again because we saw goals from all 4 lines tonight. I mean, I guess you could kind of play that angle as well. I hope I eat my words, but I don't know if Luke coming back will help the D issue. I think it will. Luke is very good at skating the puck out. And I think any guy who could help get the puck out of our own end and keep it in our offensive zone more than not is going to, by default, help the defense. We cannot have the puck in our end for as long as we have in some games. This core group ain't it. I think it's too early to tell. You guys are... This is a hostile group tonight. My God. He's negative because he cares. That has to be the most insane take you've had in a while. Congrats, SST. What's up, Amagi? You had to sit through that terrible performance in person as well. Torts did it, yeah. And that definitely was a, shots fired. When Couturier got healthy scratched, I think people understood exactly what was going on. Bitching a moment for 1 hour in a live chat doesn't make you care more than someone that isn't crying like a baby. That is also true. We played 82 last year, and the product is very much the same right now. I mean, I disagree. We've had some terrible games, but I feel much better about this year's team than last. John njdevils. I just want to see more emotion and passion from some of these guys. Haven't hit the panic button yet, but this team drives me to drink. Absolutely. 9 games and how many years of this shit? Just be patient, Luke. It's going to take some time, my man. They've been bad for a long time, but I do think this year we will kind of turn the corner. I'm just calling it like I see it, and I'm shocked of the defense of mediocrity. No one's happy about it, guys, but it's game 9, True Patriot. What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do? Say the team's terrible, blow it up, trade everybody, fuck everyone, season's over? I mean, what do you want us to say after game 9? After a bad loss like this, what do you want us to say? Everyone sucks, trade everyone. What are you looking for exactly? What would make you happy? I'm curious. Oh, sell the franchise. Here we go. Sell the franchise. It's a rock bottom game. It happens. Keefe also said that Siegs has been rock solid on defense. If you're going to put the blame on someone, at least try. Siegs has been a top D-man this season. Some of you were smoking crack. Yeah. Siegs isn't going anywhere. Timo had 2 goals tonight. Timo's been putting up points. He had 2. So sick of the low hockey IQ. Listen, guys, you're feeding the trolls. I mean, I do feel like some of these people probably are Ranger fans having a good time, and some of them are just the doomsday, Devils fans. It is what it is. Check something else here. Meier's like 225 and doesn't use his body. He's soft. I don't think Timo's soft. Meier is probably 200. I believe Timo's listed at 220-ish. What can Bratt and Mercer get in a return? I'd imagine they get something huge, but I can't see Bratt being traded. I could potentially see Mercer being traded in the right deal. But I can't see Bratt getting traded. Shut the Dude, he uses his body. He's a power forward. Tickle that like button for Ace. We're stressing the dude out with all of our whining. Please hit the thumbs up. Just hit it. It takes half a second. It takes half a second. Oh, boy. It's like I said, tonight's not the night for Doomers to test me. The Doomers are out in full force. I really was dreading coming on here. I had a feeling the negativity was going to be at an all-time high. And I just... The big thing is that they can win if they want to. Clearly, there's a switch that nobody seems to know how to turn on unless it turns itself on. Val S is one of SST's burner accounts. Stop with its game 9. That is the reality. That is the reality. And so I'm sorry. I don't know what you want. We are 11% of the season. I mean, was tonight terrible? Yes, but it's, after game 9, we're in the playoffs right now. So I don't know. Again, and that means nothing too because it's so early. But if you want to play doomsday after game 9, then I'm going to do the flip side and say, well, we're in the playoffs. So Brian, let the bong clear before you speak. Oh man, now you guys are talking about politics. Yeah, this is just derailed. Can we not pivot to politics? It's all just gone to hell in a hurry tonight. And yet Pete Rose wasn't allowed in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It is a travesty, honestly. And Luke, I don't know who else, I forget who mentioned the sports betting comment that I went on that tangent earlier, but it is a damn shame that they didn't put that man in the Hall of Fame while he was still alive, while he apologized and basically begged to be put in the Hall of Fame. The guy's the hit king, bet on baseball, and, it is what it is. Now that the leagues are so intertwined with all these companies, the fact that they didn't put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, shame on them. And if they have the audacity to try to put him in now that he's dead, I hope his family tells the Hall of Fame to go fuck themselves, because the guy for years and years, and tons of people came out in his defense and said that, Pete Rose needs to be put in the Hall of Fame. They didn't do it. The poor guy died. And now if they try to, use his name or whatever for publicity and put him in the Hall afterwards, obviously I don't think his family would reject it, but they should definitely, do some sort of pointed or nasty kind of response to it, because that is a damn shame. Some of these trolls only show up to these streams and comments when there's a loss. There's a lot of them. I suspect some of them are Ranger fans. Some of them are just the Doomsday Devils fan. I've jumped off the ledge and didn't die. Hey, my bookie's a good guy. Remember that poor bastard who bet $50K in the Falcons from the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season? Then they lost to the Patriots after being up 28-0. That is that's a brutal loss. Sports gambling. I'm a problem gambler and had some other addictions. I'm fine now, but it definitely pisses me off to see ads for it everywhere all the time. It's an industry built on exploitation. I agree, but I could say that about the other stuff too. Like the alcohol and tobacco products and all that stuff. And essentially, almost a lot of these companies are exploiting, people. I can make the case that a lot of the fast food restaurants are exploiting fat people. Everything is kind of built on the backs of people that are using their product to their detriment. That's what I'm talking about, JS. People seem to forget if the playoffs started that the Devils would be in by a country mile. Absolutely. So if people want to be ridiculous and go, oh, they're terrible, and then they're like, stop saying it's game 9, I'm going to use the flip side of the coin and be like, we're in the playoffs, guys. Congratulations, we've made it. Ace saw Vegas bookie, said Devils are third favorites of the cup and got excited. Absolutely not. I actually was upset that I didn't put I don't really gamble too much at all anymore now. Every year, maybe I'll bet on a few different fights, whether they're boxing or UFC. And I like to do hockey futures. So I usually, bet on the Devils to win the East or win the cup, the division, maybe some prop bets. And I meant to put my Devils futures in much earlier. And then after they made some of the acquisitions, the lines got worse. It didn't make me happy to see the Devils third favorites for the Cubs because the odds were worse. I wish everyone wrote them off and I could have got them at 25-1, but that's not the case. 100% agree on the sports betting. It's disgusting. Yeah, they're ramming it. They're ramming it hard, guys. Ramming it hard. Danico probably wants to cry watching this defensive effort. Well, I'm sure it doesn't make him happy. Keefe turned the Leafs into a perennial playoff team. Not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely. He couldn't get over the hump, but who goes when Pesce and Luke returns? No, Kovacevic, I think, is here to stay. When Pesce and Luke return, it's going to be, I believe, well, now Miss Yule slotted into Casey's spot. Seamus Casey went down to Utica, and they called Miss Yule up for him. So it'll be Miss Yule out for Luke, and I believe it'll probably be Shimo Nemitz out for Pesce. That is my prediction. Did not watch tonight, but seems like the Devils are just garbage. Well, I mean, that's kind of, yeah, there you go. I mean, if you didn't watch, shut it. But yeah, it wasn't a good game. I knew tonight was a red flag when they didn't have that awesome chicken parm in the Pier Club like they had last time. Something was fishy. Love the barbecue chicken with pineapple salsa, though. Absolutely not, John. They are not 50% off, but you could go buy one at full price if you'd like. And don't try to jump on the bandwagon. Come playoff time. We're gonna keep receipts on all this stuff for all of you the doomsdayers. Kova and Dylan is not going to be saving us all the time. I'm shocked about the puck control. Game 9, when it's going to be game 30, we're going to still sit here and say on to the next one. Thoughts and prayers for your liver tonight. Lots of garbage takes tonight. The doomsdayers are out here. They're out here, and it is what it is. Shit show from last year continues. Had high hopes entering the season, but it's hard to watch. Crappy game, bad passing decisions killed them. Oh, well, moving on. The season isn't over yet. The season isn't over already. Walt, you're usually a pretty level-headed dude. Some of the people in here are just out for blood. I don't know what these people want. They want me to come on here and be like, screw everyone. The team sucks. I don't know what they want, but it's kind of wild. I've been a fan longer than probably most people in here. I had season tickets in both stadiums for over 20 years. The franchise has been a joke since Lou left. Ray and Fitz haven't done shit. I can't say you're wrong. And I've criticized pretty much most years lots of things that have happened since the glory days, Luke. But I do think the additions and tweaks that Fitz made this offseason, I think, are going to pay dividends in time. Again, new coach, new system, lots of new players. It's game 9 and people are jumping off the ledge. I'm firmly waiting till American Thanksgiving, guys. Yeah, my take, it's game 9. Exactly. I don't know how people are this fired up after game 9. I'm out on I like turtles later, y'all. See you later, Ryder. Guys all giddy about winning some lotteries. Kool-Aid Brigade morons who have probably never played a minute of competitive sports in their lives. Analytic nerds. The team is already in its window. I believe that as well. Our best chance to win a cup is now for the next 4 or 5 years. I firmly believe that. Pete Rose had active bets on when he died. Do you mean what? I don't know what that means. Pete Rose, the manager, he really could manipulate the game though. But didn't he bet on his own team? When's the draft party? We got a while for that. Of course, Pete was a great player, but a crazy gambler. I hope that's the last one. We don't see another bad one like that anywhere. All right, we don't see another one like that for a while. People also need to realize the defending Cup champs lost to the Senators recently. I can't find Dirty Devil anywhere. How is that possible, Maria? Did you use the thing on the website? The hold on. They have a locator. They have a locator. You put your well, let's see if I could do this. You could go to the locator and put in New Jersey, and they tell you where it is. They have it at a lot of places. It's game 9 playoffs. I don't know. I can't follow what this is about here. My point is, for all the people talking about how bad the team is, this, that, and the other thing, I could use the same thing on the flip side and say we're firmly in the playoffs as of today after game 9. That was my point with that. Maybe that went over some heads. Ace last year, there's only 15 games. Will be all right after 60 games. Sorry, you were right. I don't think you're going to be right. I don't think you're going to be right this year, but you never know. Do you think Keefe should have pulled Allen or just let him work through it? Granted, he's a veteran, but do you think that kind of beating would have a lasting effect on his psyche? I honestly think in tonight's game, generally speaking, I would say pull the goalie, but if Keefe's thing is not to pull backups, I mean, I don't think no matter what happened tonight in net, who we put in there, it would have mattered. I don't think it'll have a lasting effect because it wasn't like he was giving up terrible, or at least, they all weren't terrible goals. The team played like shit in front of them, and it is what it is. I would rather, if the choice, and it's looking back with hindsight, right? If it was like you could leave Allen out there and he gets lit up for all these goals, or you pull him after 2, then Markstrom goes out there, comes out cold, and he also gets lit up in a relief performance, there is no win there. The team was off, and it is what it is. I really miss joining Ace's post-game live streams. People in the chat, I'm the most reactionary one here, so I'm the biggest realist. Ace, you just love excusing these bums. What am I excusing? I don't know if people have a comprehension problem, if you have this on in the background and you're doing other shit and you're not fully paying attention. I am not excusing anything. What I'm saying is the game was awful. It was a dog shit performance. And then I'm also saying that it's game 9 and I'm not jumping off a ledge just yet. That is what I am saying. So if you take all that into consideration, I believe that is a very valid, level-headed, normal thing to do. At game 9 of the season, without 2 of our better defensemen in the lineup, with a new coach, I am not going to ring the alarm yet. I think it's ludicrous of all the over-exaggerators that are in here going wild, and then yelling at me that I'm not burying the team like you guys are. It's game 9. It's game 9. It's game 9. People forgot how to say tough loss. We'll get them next time. They'll be lucky to make the playoffs the next 4 years. You're crazy, man. Come on. Okay, so that makes John, Art, and True Patriot. When the Devils lift the cup, the three of you can take turns kissing my ass. Not aiming at people in here necessarily, but it's really sad how many folks call themselves fans, but all they ever do is bash the team they supposedly love. Never have a good thing to say. Yeah, that's the doomsdayers, Walt. There's a lot of them here, especially tonight. There is a lot of them here. Sean, I have PTSD from the last decade, but I think we're going to be okay. I am right there with you, sir. I have PTSD as well. But again, game 9, these people just want to come out here and just, light the world on fire. I don't know. They just want to be right about something. They could care less about the team. I mean, that could be. What's up, NJ Swamp Fox? SOS at home. Unbelievable how poorly this team plays at home. Way to reward your paying fans. Yeah, we didn't get rewarded with much tonight. We got a middle finger. That's the kind of effort we got tonight. Truth, they'll show up to the parade, though. So at what game of the season are you giving it till? Guys, I don't know. Giving it till what? What exactly are you guys looking for me to do? After a specific game, you want me to come on here and be like, fuck the Devils. We're horrible. Stop watching. I'm shutting down the channel. Like, I don't know what you guys are looking for. I think we will have a good outlook of what the team truly will look like around Thanksgiving, which is about 5 weeks away. We have played 25 total games before Thanksgiving. That is a little more, or actually a little under a third of the season. And I think that gives you a good look. With that being said, all you have to do is make the playoffs and get hot at the right time, and you could win a cup. So I don't know what exactly metrics or barometer or whatever you guys are looking for from me, because I don't really know what it is that you guys want to hear. Why is optimism shit on around here, Whistler? Because this is the night of negativity. This is the darkest stream in the history of the channel, I think. The darkest. There's a ton of doomsdayers in here, and they're coming on strong. Riot and respect. Still early, but they need to figure it out. Injuries or not, their play at home is worrying. Yeah, absolutely. It is. Mike SD. Hey, Ace, there's good news. Mikhail Yegorov, our goalie prospect, was named USHL Goalie Player of the Month. I did see that. He will be going to Boston University and playing under head coach there, Jay Pandolfo, former 2-time Stanley Cup champion with your New Jersey Devils. I will definitely get to a game or two in Boston when he's there to check him out live and enjoy all of the quality food that the north end of Boston has to offer. I can't fathom how people can be so pessimistic when we were forced to watch the 23-24 Devils nowhere near that disaster. I completely agree. We are a way better team than last year, I think, and we'll be, as the season goes on, that'll be shown. But people are just they're out with the pitchforks tonight. Ace is like a disappointed dad right now. These kids don't listen. Listen, people could feel however they want. Jump off the ship. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. I can only give you how I feel. I'm not telling you how to feel. If you want to be negative and live in negativity, and after every loss, like, oh, this team sucks, and this is the same team as last year, and blah, 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 then live like that. I don't get to that point until we are in the real drive and need points to make the playoffs. You saw it last year, and come out with dog shit efforts when we're fighting for our lives. That's a different story. But right now, that is not the case. We are at game 9 under a new coach with a ton of new players. Let's be realistic. A tough loss is Toronto and Carolina. This was atrocious. And minus all of the blunders, give one legit reason why anyone think it will change. Well, I do think at some point, Keefe is going to give guys a much shorter leash where if you do bonehead plays, you're going to sit the bench or get scratched. I do think Pesce and Luke will help the defense. And it's still only game 9. And I hate, and not to make excuses, this schedule is brutal. And you know how I know, guys? Because I'm not fucking playing hockey. I'm coming on here doing streams and recording videos. And sometimes with the 3 games in 4 days, I feel it from making fucking videos and sitting here on lives. I'm like, oh my God, when does this end? They're playing hockey and traveling to the games. I'm making, you feel it. Some of you might even feel it from watching this shit. The schedule has been insane, and I can't fathom the toll it's taking, especially after coming back from the Global Series. It's a lot of games in a short time span. It's wild. I don't consider myself optimistic. I consider myself realistic. I've sat through 21 seasons of Devils hockey. I've seen it all. Some of these guys clearly have not seen it all. I imagine a lot of the people here are very young. And it's, again, like someone else pointed out, it may have been you. It's not what have you done for me lately. It's like, what have you done on the last shift? Favorite Devils enforcer? Easily, hands down. Well, let me see if I have a visual that's nearby. I may or may not. Do I have a visual nearby that I could show? I don't think I do. Let me see if I could. He's right there over the top of my chair. You can't really see him. The most left guy right above my chair here where my arm is. You can't see it, but that's number 8 on the crash line. Mike Peluso, New Jersey Devils legend, hands down my favorite Devils enforcer. And then the other guys that would be on the list in no particular order of my favorite Devils enforcers of all time would be Christoph Oliwa, Cam Jansen, Jim McKenzie. That would probably be my top 4 in no particular order. Peluso, Cam Jansen, Oliwa, Big Jim McKenzie. Those are some tough men. Jersey Roots, how you doing, Pazan and all the other Devils barbarians? Jersey Roots, full disclosure, full warning, there is a lot of negativity in the building here tonight. A lot. Can I just say, seeing Nico trying to will his team to victory over each of the last few games is inspiring. Proud of the kid. Yeah, he's hands down been our best player this season. Someone asked about him being captain earlier, and I said, he's been our best player, and he gives you 100% every night. I can't ask for more. I originally, when he first became captain, I typically came up in the school of Scott Stevens and do like the more fiery kind of, assassin type captains, but not everyone captains their NHL clubs the same way. Nico's a different type of leader, but he certainly brings it, and he's certainly deserving of wearing the C. Peluso, hands down. That's one thing me and SST can agree on. Ace had better blacklist all the doomers from the eventual run-in with the Devils Cup party. I think the receipts will be here, so I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna have that list out, and I'm gonna be like this. What's your user ID? No. Not on the list. After every loss, bro, after wins, these guys are talking nonsense. Nico really is the man of the people. What's going on, Dan? I have to say, I really like the new coach. He exudes personality and passion. I do like Keefe. I would love to see some video of what practice is going to consist of tomorrow, because I'd probably bag skate guys till they puke. 2 stinkers in a row at home. Absolutely. Two fair points, Ace, but who takes those minutes? Tatar, Palat, because no way Jack loses time to those guys. And Palat killing this roster, 6 mil is too much for 0 production. Who takes the minutes from what? I'm far behind in the chat. I'm trying to think what that could have been. 2 fair points, but who takes those minutes? Mike Peluso before my time, but I'll never forget that clip of him being moved to tears on the bench and they locked up the cup in 95. One of the greatest images in all of Devils history. Mike Peluso sniffling on the bench, tears coming down his eyes. Wow, what a moment in Devils history. Moments before capturing their first cup in 1995. And Mike Peluso and the crash line were just such a legendary just line and legendary time of the team. They really kind of really embodied what that 1995 Devils team really was. Luke, another Peluso. Yeah, Peluso was the absolute man. Oliwa was a beast when he played in Albany. Oliwa was a beast where he played everywhere. He was another one, just gunslinger. I also think I slightly am swayed, I guess, by I mean, I think everyone is to some extent, like certain things from childhood. Like I was a little kid, not a little kid, but a young kid, and seeing Peluso, and I've met him tons of times when I was a kid, but just seeing how energetic he was and pointing to the crowd, skating off the ice after fighting guys like Rob Ray and all these other tough guys from that era. It was just it was just rock star shit. Mike Peluso was just a rock star. They don't make him like that anymore. To be fair, Peluso could play, though, if we're saying guys that could only fight Jansen. Ace, do you have any cool Scott Niedermayer memorabilia? Rich, I have cool memorabilia of some kind of everybody. Bag skate is 100% must. Scotty was a juggernaut. Jack, Timo, Brat, and Nico could all score 2 goals each, and bros here would be like, none got a hat trick. Ass corner. It is true. It really is true. Practice won't be brutal physically tomorrow, but I'm certain Keefe is going to be laying into them verbally. They'll be doing passing plays all day long. I remember that. What a great team. Hell, Peluso made me teary-eyed watching that live. I mean, wow. I remember as a kid vividly being like, wow, this guy can't even take the ice. Troy Crowder. Wow, Whistler, you're really old school. That predates me. I obviously know about Troy Crowder, but I did not get to enjoy his fisticuffs live. Only by way of, the video capabilities. Doomers think we're just sitting on our hands. I want them bag skated. I want practice to be hell. I want Keefe to hammer home that poor effort we'll have you watching from the press box. Practice needs to be brutal. The only reason why I think to someone else's point that it might not be is because we are going into back-to-backs after that. And so I'm sure, to prove a point, he doesn't want them dead for the game. But also, even the best Devils team had the odd stinker. They're going to come out flat sometimes. Yeah, but this is 2 in a row now. It's pretty bad. Keefe's post-game Johnny Danks. Keefe's post-game video was fire. Did you watch the presser? I don't know if it was the whole thing. I saw at least a clip of it. After I get off these lives, I then go do a deep dive and watch everything that's available from every source before I record the video that goes live in the morning. But I did see him visibly agitated with the one reporter that seems to ask dumb questions all the time. And then he was like, is there anyone else here with the question? And I can tell he was pissed. I definitely got a chuckle out of that. I'm curious to see if there's more clips that I didn't get to see yet. I feel like Big Mac can provide that spark that the team has been missing over the last few games, or maybe not. What do I know? The team will get it together, I'm sure. At this point, you have nothing to lose. Throw them out there, let them crush some people and drop the mitts, and maybe it'll spark something. Would have loved to be in the fly. Would love to have been a fly on the wall in the locker room after this one. I think that's a couple of us. Doug had himself a rough one tonight. You can kind of feel the vibe in the air when things aren't going well, and I'm sure it's tough to try and play back when crowd is dead. Players play differently. Everyone's got to take a beating sometimes. All right, guys, I'm gonna take a piss, and then I'm gonna come back here and wrap up for like 5, for like the last 5 or 10 minutes, and do closing, whatever you guys have to talk about. But so much negativity. Shout out to all of you, even the negative bastards, for coming through. And shout out to the ones that are, trying to keep a level head like myself, which is crazy. When I'm the level-headed one, something's wrong. Chico, you're hilarious. I got something special for you, Chico. I'll be right back. And we'll do the final 5 or 10 minutes and closing up. But wow, the negativity's at an all-time high, guys. I need another beverage. My can's been empty. I was drinking some high-quality H2O. I'll be right back. Play nice till I return. You see the, for all you, I don't think you can see my hands are wet. You see, I got a paper towel for all you people that think I'm a shkivats. There's no chance that I don't wash my hands. And I'll be honest, it's a pet peeve when I see people at the games taking leaks or worse, going in the stall, closing the door and coming out and just walking right out of the bathroom like nothing happened. I was like, excuse me, did you forget something? Maybe everyone should pretend it's still COVID when everyone was doing the scrub up to the elbow with the, maybe we should go back to that. Because some people, oh, yeah. Oh my God. Oliwa has 210 games played, 724 PIMs, including 79 fights with the Devils. That's 6'5", 245 pounds of kick-ass. And JS, you could not be more correct. I have a super sick Oliwa piece that I'll eventually get to. Absolutely beautiful Oliwa piece that just shows the true warrior that he was. Oh yeah, how do you feel about people putting their last names on super expensive jerseys like Stadium Series and RR 1.0? Wild to me. I don't care about that. I think it's a little strange, but you know, I get it. I've never done it. I always, you know, wear my legends, but if you want to put your own name on it, then go ahead. Not for me, but I washed my hands. Chico, thank you very much. Don't forget to wipe. I don't have that kind of time on a stream, my friend. Don't give me nothing with them peepee hands. We got waxed. It happens. New roster, new coach. They need time to gel. No, Marshall. By game 9, they should look like a Stanley Cup champion. There should be no mistakes. Everything should be executed flawlessly, and we should be winning every game 7-0. Ace is going to use his Marty Brodeur locker room issued toilet paper. No, I don't have any of that. Like the streams, you filthy guas. Yeah, give me a like, guys. Even if you don't like me, hit the like, you know? Been a fan since inception. Had to listen on the radio. Larry Hirsch and Ray's dad, Fred Sherrill, on the call. Wow, Whistler, respect. You go way back. You're an OG. NJ Devils game used hand towels in the bathroom. I do not. Was listening to NHL radio on XM. Could have sworn I heard you call in. Nope. A lot of people confuse concern with negativity. I mean, it's like the last 10 years haven't happened. Unreal. But hey, Meier scored. So listen, I'm not one of those people. I call it for what it is. And don't worry. If things are looking grim come March, for those that have been watching me since then, you already know what time it is. I'm going to come on with the fire. But it's not time for that at game 9, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, they'll be fine. I'm not going to lie and say my emotions can't get the best of me when I'm watching live 5 beers deep. But in retrospect, we've seen worse, and even great teams have games like this. They do. It sucks that it came right after a bad game against Washington. But absolute gavones, Jay Snow, these people. Absolutely disgusting animals. Yo, I watched the guy leave out of a stall without washing his hands, and I accidentally made eye contact with him. Horrible. Chico. Oh, I judge the fuck out of people when I see them just walk off without washing their hands. Unfortunately, it happens way more than it should. And it's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Oh, Maggie, I just threw up in my mouth. Worse was when I saw a dude stick his hands in the pretzel tray at the M Lounge. The worker behind it waiting with the tongue stared right into his soul. This has just gotten so derailed. If you don't wash your hands after a shit, you should be barred from the arena. Absolutely. And it should be a 1 strike. There should be like a little sensor or something where it just catches you. If you come out and you just walk out, a guy in a black suit, like Secret Service, gets radioed in a headset, and he just comes from behind a wall somewhere, and they just grab him by the shoulder and like, sir, you're coming with us. They're like, you're an absolute skeeve, and they just throw you out of the arena, and you're blacklisted forever. Scan his face, facial recognition. Do not come to this arena ever again. Your kind is not welcome here. You're the best, Ace. Thank you. Buddy of mine never washed his hand after a pee, so I started putting Purell on my hands when I go to dap him up. He hates it. LMA. Shame these people. I shame people like this. I don't care. Glad we can all come together regarding bathroom hygiene etiquette. Hell, if we're at the All-Star break and they're barely above 500 or under outside of a playoff spot and still playing lazy, you'll hear it from me, but I don't think that's likely. You and I are pretty much aligned, Chico, and we're nowhere near there yet. Ace, I'm buying your number 9 jersey, and the name will say, it's only game, so when we win the cup, you can take receipts looking good. Yo, I'm going to remember these people, and I hope all you other people here that are level-headed also remember these people, because when they try to, you know, to celebrate the good times, we're all going to just have to remind them of the naysaying negative Nancy's they were at this juncture of the season. I'm a big fan of the podcast. That's why I'm here venting. This area is so starved for Devils coverage. Missed the old show in NJ12 in the locker room. This is better than that. Only we can't call in. Luke, you can call in. So I'm going to come back to it. I forgot. No one ever calls in. I did it a couple times and no one called in, so I kind of forgot about it. Luke, I want you to be the first caller next time, my man. Email me or message me on any of these nonsense platforms. I tried to do the call-in and no one called in, and then I forgot about it. I enjoy the call-ins. In the summer, I had a couple random lives where people called in. I have better technology now. I'm an old guy, so I'm slow. I mean, I'm picking up new tricks as I go along, and I like the call-ins. But no one. The last time I offered it up, no one called in. People like to talk shit in the chat better, but I want to go back to the call-ins, and so I hope after next game, people will call in. You try walking to a urinal and a guy has his pants around his ankles. That's like little kid stuff. Bathroom bouncers are definitely needed. Glad I don't have these problems. Women's rooms can be disgusting, though. Wait, Mel C, are you a female? Is Mel C female? Mel C, you might be the only female in here with a bunch of savages. Shout out to you for enduring the, I don't know, whatever you want to call that's going on in here. It's really gotten derailed tonight. Imagine you forgot to wash your hands. Yeah, I think I might. That'd be a funny sign. That'd be a funny sign. You forgot to wash your hands and just walk up to people. My only big concern right now is Pesce having rust on top of Dougie, still in the process of shaking it off, waiting for those Dougie bombs on the power play. Yeah, we saw one a couple of games ago, and there was a couple times tonight where I was hoping he was going to wind up and crank one, but I think he's been, you know, whenever people converge on him or kind of get in the shooting lane, he hesitates and passes it. I'd like to see him start shooting it more. You can eat off the floor in a woman's bathroom. A men's bathroom is a sewer. I don't know about that, Jay Snow, but I will say I was somewhere with my buddy yesterday, and we were in a public men's restroom, and it was absolutely disgusting. There was basically piss everywhere. And in the moment, he was at one urinal, I was at the other, and I was like, and this is why I insist you take your shoes off when you come in my house. I said, we are almost ankle deep in piss right now. It was absolutely disgusting. And I don't know if I've talked about this before. I am the hugest proponent of, if you don't take your sneakers off when you come in my house, we're going to have a problem. Because what changed, and I never thought about this in depth, but maybe 10 years ago now, I somehow came across an article online where they talked about the various things that are pretty much on every person's sneakers. And it basically was an article to be like, don't wear your shoes in the house because you're tracking literal shit and all this disgusting stuff from outside. And after I read that, I was like, that's so true. I never thought of it that way. And from that day on, I never let, I was a strict shoes off household. And I know a lot of people kind of complain about it and try to give me a hard time. And I'm like, guy, I'm going to start printing out that art. I got to find the article and start printing it out and like having it in a basket where it's like, here, read about why you're not allowed to wear sneakers in my house, you filthy animal. You absolute filthy animal. I called it when you had the legendary Nostalgia epic moment. Oh, boy. No, I don't know. Women can be nasty, especially with the monthly occurrence. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. After the Devils go on a heater, I'm going to call in and not even talk about the game. I'm just going after Art, John, and True Patriot. That is fine. Remember everything I'm saying. I'll be the first one there giving Fitzy props. Just don't see it. Have little to no faith. Luke, you're beaten down, man. I get it. It's been a long For those of us that have seen the glory days, it's been a long, I guess, decade plus now for us. It's terrible. It's completely terrible. Ace, great to see you again this season. Hate it took 9 games, but was busy here in NC doing relief work from the storm. Keep rocking the channel. Love your work, buddy. Good night to you all. Thank you, JS. Thank you, sir. Was that you when that other dude was on the stream losing his stuff? I don't know what that is. People don't have a shoes off policy are barbarians. I completely agree. Yeah. The simple solution is to take your shoes off when you go into the bathroom so your shoes are clean. Oh, that's definitely not a. There's a scene in The Sopranos where Paulie Walnuts goes off on having wet shoelaces. Hilarious. Having been in the bathroom at CBGB's, RIP, I'm pretty numb to gross bathrooms. That place gave you PTSD. Oh, boy. It's only game 9, guys. We'd be in the playoffs today. It may be easier if you use Discord as a call-in method. I have a way to do it better now, I think. Paulie Walnuts and Christopher in the Pine Barrens is an all-time episode for me. Ace going off about shoes in his house and women in the bathroom are awful. These exposing themselves. Pine Barrens, best episode. I agree. My buddy's dad has been a Devils fan since day one. He was saying it feels like we've been stuck in 92, 93 for like 3 years now, and it's true. It's been rough, man. Oh, easy, Amagi. I know what you look like, bro. You've seen me in real life. I'm gonna come find you. Grandpa Ace ain't using Discord. You're probably right. I'm gonna look into all this stuff. Like I said, I am hesitant to change. I am an old dog and I don't like learning new tricks. And unfortunately, as part of all of this shit, I've been forced to constantly learn new tricks. So maybe Discord will be one of them. Potentially. I'm looking into a lot of things. Ace Walnuts. Running with the Devils Discord would be awesome, though. Clean bathrooms is part of some of my early year jobs, and man, whoever said that is right. Women's bathrooms are putrid. Oh, I'm glad I don't know what that's like. But public bathrooms in general, I feel like, are pretty grotesque. All right, guys, I've been on here way longer than I thought. Lots of negativity here tonight. I'm hoping for a big New Jersey Devils win in Detroit. Hoping for a big Devils win in Detroit, and I'm hoping for a lot of people to maybe not be so negative or just straight up not appear until a loss. What made us so good in 22-23? I think it was a combination of things. Primarily, I think we caught a lot of teams by surprise, and teams weren't kind of gunning for us because we sucked for so long. So I think we caught a lot of teams by surprise, but you know, most of the key players are still here. So it's one of those things. Dougie was on absolute fire. I mean, Dougie may never come close to that sort of offensive season again, unfortunately. I do think a run-in with the Devils community Discord is an amazing idea. I'll look into this. All right, guys, that's it. I'm spent. I'm emotionally and physically drained. The New Jersey Devils drop an absolute stinker at the Rock by a score of 8-5 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I am scarred. I am hoping for a much better outcome and effort in the next game. I'm thinking we're going to see Markstrom, and then we'll see, I guess, Allen again Friday at home. So I guess it'll be two Friday starts, or sorry, 2 home starts in a row for Allen, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know why Allen started tonight, to be honest. It's kind of baffling. It's kind of baffling. I'm not really sure why that happened. Mary, thanks for coming on to talk post-game. I always look forward to watching your videos. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate you. A community Discord would allow us to BS like this chat, but all the time. Oh my God, I don't know if I can handle that. I already have enough distractions in my life. But if there was some sort of, real-time 24/7 version of this, especially with the negative people, oh boy. Mel C off the rails once again. I mean, yeah, it happens. Good night. I predict we'll be hearing, come on, guys. It's only game 40. We still have time to get better. As long as we get in the playoffs, I'm not worried. As long as we get in the playoffs, I'm not worried. Obviously, the higher seed and, home ice would be nice. But in the end, as long as they get in, anything can happen, guys. And so, again, I'm not remotely worried anytime soon. For all the negativity that was in here tonight, my head hurts. For those of you that are level-headed and aren't, freaking out yet, I appreciate you guys as well. Thanks, Ace. You might want to get text to voice. You don't have to read so many chats. I bet all the doomers don't even wash their hands. I bet they don't, Ron. You're probably right. Who is panicking, Ted? I guess you just got here. There was at least a dozen people just firing shots. Mel C, good night, and make sure to wash your hands. Amen. That's a PSA. Wash your hands, you nasty people. You nasty, nasty people. Wash your damn hands. All right, that's it. That's really it. I'll be back soon. The boys need to wake up and silence the haters among us, whether they're Devils fans or Rangers fans masquerading as Devil fans to, infiltrate the chat. I don't know. But that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And definitely wash your hands after using the bathroom. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.